running at you, and a Lifestealer you can't shunt out of lane.
I'm with you. I think Lifestealer isn't a particularly good hero right now, but it's a good pick in the game. So even heroes that aren't particularly strong in the meta, at least that's my read on it right now. A lot of other teams seem to not play it at all either, right? Maybe this is the first or the second Lifestealer pick in general.
Yeah.
If they don't really favor the hero, it can still, a hero that isn't very good can still be great when it's last picked in the right matchup. So you're very tall when you stand on your toes.
Yeah, you got it.
I thought T tried to do it too, so I'm like,
Hi parents, can we go watch the game now, please?
We can watch the game now, please.
Let's go out for ice cream.
Let's head over
Thanks,
to our
Father.
commentary team. It is Sven and Cat.
Thank you very much. As we have a pause so we can take this time to appreciate all that is Lifestealer. Are you a Lifestealer fan?
Yes.
Why?
In this game specifically, or
No, just in general.
I mean, I think that there's not enough heroes with passives, and Lifestealer has 2 of them.
Okay.
And I think that that's,
Oh, that's an
really
interesting
cool.
one. Yeah,
You know, not every hero has to be super complicated. You know, looking at you, Ice Frog, all these new ones coming out have like 4 or 5 abilities, global mechanics.
That's true.
They heal, stun, and deal damage. Dawnbreaker, Broken Hero, don't be in TI, please. And then, you know, it's nice to have some like more simplistic hero designs.
I actually fully agree with you on this, and I find Lifestealer, despite being a little bit brain dead, very fun to play. He's kind of an in and out type of carry, as long as your team understands that Infest has a ridiculously low range, so they need to come close to you. But the panel's right. Like right in this patch, Lifestealer not that great, but in this lineup, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, need the position 1. You have an Empower target now. You have a couple vehicles, both in Magnus and the Batrider to actually infest into to initiate with. So I can definitely see some. And Shiva mentioned the rage through the arena.
Yep.
So good value.
It kind of goes both ways against Sven as well, where, you know, you can rage the Sven. Sven can go toe-to-toe with you, but, you know, with no BKB, you know, the feast life steal is pretty significant. It's an interesting matchup, but I've always liked Lifestealer against Sven, and it's certainly strong against the support duo, the Ember, the Mars. Like, you know, this built-in BKB is going to be very effective.
Oh boy, big Stormhammer, even bigger Shockwave though with the big Illuminate. Everything's getting bigger by the moment as Cuckoo and Carl on the run. Not sure if anything will come of this now as...
Oh, I mean, I was so sure we were going to see a steal to the cliff, but it went Shockwave.
Yeah, okay, you got some more damage onto FNG, gets a Scatter Blast off, but there's the Illuminate again, a little bit too cocky for Zephyr. As down he goes, so first blood for Alliance. And yeah, I mean, back in the day, Lifestealer was actually, like, in terms of, like, when you get a bunch of strength items on any hero, he's very good. It's not as good these days, but they did bring back the mechanic where your damage has a little bit of percentage based back into it, so definitely feels good. Talk to me about Lich. This hero is, like, non-existent. I saw it once in the playoffs. It was absolute garbage. It's just like a worse version of every other support in the game from what I've seen, but I want him to be good.
It's, you know, I guess, you know, if you think about Wyvern, how it plays up against Sven, Lich is picked for the similar reasons, you know, physical damage mitigation, but better in the laning phase, primarily because you can already see 3 mangoes, you spam Q, and you just zone the enemy support hard. I'm personally not a huge fan, just because I think it's got limited utility. Chain Frost is very hit or miss, but, you know, we'll see. It's a new patch, you know, people still trying to figure stuff out.
He's starting to get the Crystal Maiden treatment to a degree where you get all these weird talents or ags and shards that actually, like, okay, if I get some items on Crystal Maiden, I can do a lot of... Nobody does that, though. And now with the new ags, or the changes, I should say, with the... Is it the shard or the ags? Basically, when you Sinister Gaze, you get to use all your spells still. That's part of the ags now, I think, right?
Yeah, but, like...
It's like a mini black hole on a very low cooldown, theoretically, but it requires an Ags, and then you have to get like a Blink, then you have to get like a BKB. As we're going to see another kill here, this time on Handskin.
It's just like, it doesn't do any damage, though.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see. I mean, he just killed the Coddle, so
I mean,
there's some perks.
Early game, he is quite good.
He did use 3 mangoes, like 4 Hanskins. It's like, what am I supposed to do here? Just getting blasted off the map.
Yeah. I think they... I don't know if it was this last patch, but the Sinister Gaze, the mana drain, I think got buffed as well. So
yeah, it's like, I think they're trying to make it
gain your mana back a little bit.
It's supposed to be like a spell like mana drain from Lion. I think that would give it a bit more utility, but the trouble with the heroes, you're so squishy.
Do you miss Sacrifice?
That was a really bad mechanic. I'm glad that's gone.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan either. But if you played Lich, it was great, right? Just mechanic as a whole, not too fun. I mean, you get your mana, you ruin the enemy's carries.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's just tedious. Like, I'm gonna make the carry lose a creep per wave because I'm skilled. Like, it was just
so no skill,
anti-fun.
Oh, Whitemon tanking up that Illuminate. 1v1 battle for the ages. Who wins, Lich or the man on the camel? Illuminate again, but there's the Fairy Fire. Man, this could be a highlight reel right here. Neither die, though. I feel a little cheated here.
It's bold, though, and Hanskin, he does that primarily so that he can get the hard camp, but it was actually re-blocked by Whitemon. Very annoying to deal with because, you know, Hanskin has to deny his own ward to... Oh, nice TV from them. He has to deny his own ward to make sure the camp spawns, but then you replace it, and now the sentry isn't there anymore.
Right, Zephyr getting gone on here with a nice Stormbolt into Cookie combo. Looks like they're going to find their second kill of the game for Alliance. Okay, let's talk about Snapfire a bit, because this hero, back when, I want to say, it was introduced first, nobody was really picking it, then they added the Ags into the game, and it was crazy, and everybody was picking it. Then, yep, this ability to kind of play as a side carry with like the triple little shredder and all that garbage, but you have to get 25. Where do you think this hero exists right now? Is it just like the ult? Like, you have a little utility with the Cookie, obviously, but it feels like you're picking it to use your ult in some capacity. Like right now, Searing Chain sets it up. You got some nice stuns with Mars Arena, holding everything in place.
Yeah, it's... I think it's probably one of the best shards in the game, to be fair. Like, the laning phase is a bit worse now that that ability right there, the little shredder, doesn't quite do as much damage, but you know, your shard just gives you bonus 125 damage and a stun when you go point blank. So yeah. I think any hero that has this incredible high damage ultimate and then later on in the game, you know, blink, stun, Cookie stun, like 2 stuns is just good. I'm a big fan of stuns, so
if you can set yourself up for the Cookie, yeah, it's easy peasy.
Yeah. I like it a lot with all these frontline heroes, right? It's much easier to play Snapfire when your 3 cores are all trying to go as far in as possible.
Right. Well, we're going to see a skewer from Cuckoo. FNG Cookie back the other direction. And you can see some damage on the Zephyr, but nobody's going to find a kill. Meanwhile, the 1v1 battle did end eventually, and Hanskin is the victor. Very excited.
Thrilled with these results.
1K network lead here for Alliance very early on. Interested to see what 23 Savage's build is going to be. It's probably just an armlet, the old boring build. Phase boots, armlet, and then usually it's S and Y.
And he's doing well. I think Hanskin doing a great job just annoying Whitemon and ensuring that the Lich can't use spells on his Mars, because this matchup is a very Lifestealer favorite. It's going to get a lot worse for S4, especially if he ends up getting left here 1 versus 1. Orb of Venom plus Ghoul Frenzy is what, 15%, 27% slow, 28% slow. So you just get hit. Like S4, especially once phase boots come up, it's just annoying. You can't really lane down here effectively.
A lot of people complain about Ghoul Frenzy and how useless it is. You can't look at the slow. You're getting ridiculous attack speed from it. It's a requirement to level right now.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the typical 1-2-2 build, and if he goes into the jungle, you expect him to max out the Ghoul Frenzy, but we'll see. Limp getting caught off here, but we'll Remnant back to the high ground.
Yeah, Limp is going to be the player to watch this game, though. Laning phase, not perfect, but it's a Bat Rider. It's pretty tough. We saw 9 put in some work on the hero twice today.
Radiant's
Ember, courier, Dunzo. All right.
You can get onto the backline supports. That's the key. You know, Limp's just going to go in. As you said, the Searing Chain's really nice setup for the fireballs from Snapfire.
Yep.
LDD.
Limp trying to take out some stacks now, so somewhat passive gameplay overall.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right, now that we have some time, I do have some theory crafting I'd like to bring up to you. Okay.
Can't wait.
First of all, I'm not saying it's good yet. I'm saying, you know how things in Dota are really bad and then they get micro buffed once?
Sure.
Micro buffed, eventually good. Aghanim's Lifestealer. It does actually so much theoretically. Like, it gives you the cast range on Infest, it gives you a lower cooldown, you heal faster, you can jump inside enemies. The problem is it doesn't really do that much damage. They added one more tick But the problem right now is the regular build for Lifestealer, you need like a daedalus. You need like hard damage for it to be good, which isn't really a build for him unless you add more attacks or something on top of that.
But
I feel like that's going to be a thing in the future.
it is cool because while you're infesting an enemy, you can all chat while you're hitting yourself and just have a chance to like grab a quick drink. And if you are watching, do make sure to stay hydrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is important.
Absolutely.
However, no, it's not a thing.
It's not a thing
you
yet.
can't buy it. It doesn't do enough for you, and it's too expensive. Later on in the game, sure, you have a rapier. It's pretty cool, but it's one of those things. Like, you know, shout out to the dev team. They did make an Aghanim Scepter for effectively every hero.
Yeah.
But I believe there are some where the ideas were developed later at night. You know, it's we spent a couple of times. It's like 3, 4 a.m. There's only 2 guys left.
They were just listening to Slacks for the Lycan bite, right?
Maybe that's what it is. You get to the end of your ideas, you're like, we still have these. We need 2 more heroes.
All right, this could be your moment. This could be your moment to create an Aghanim Scepter.
No, I have no desire to create. I just like to talk about the game. I don't want to balance the game.
I have a suggestion for Lifestealer X. Since we have some time here, we might as well. You know, it's late at night somewhere. Maybe there's a Valve employee like, you know what? I want this to be a thing. How about being able to use items while you're inside? So if you have that nullifier, which is an item on Lifestealer in the late game, you cast it while you're inside them, so they can't ghost scepter. They get annoyed.
Love it.
Thank you. That's still just a micro buff to the grand scheme of things, getting Ags on Lifestealer.
What if, and then if a hero dies while under the influence of Lifestealer Infest, the game pauses. You do a quick cinematic of him popping out of the chest of his victim, and then the game would continue.
I mean, Valve loves loot crates. So that just makes perfect sense to me. It's like opening a chest, except you get a disgusting ghoul that comes out. Absolutely.
Okay, not the kind of chest I was referencing.
Carl is... okay.
All right.
Carl is farming the crap out of this triangle. And we talked about how this has become a little bit less effective. It just requires a lot more, as he's going to pick pull himself. Requires a lot more sticky napalms these days, but...
It still works, though. It takes a little bit longer, but still effective. Oh, Cookie, a little out of range. FNG. It's the nerf coming into play.
Yeah. But you haven't, I don't think you've talked about which lineup you actually prefer. Have you?
Kind of depends. Like, I like Alliance's concept better. I think Mag would have been better suited to a core role this game. Or rather, like a farm priority. But it's going to come down to how does Carl play. He's really going to need to pace make.
Radiant's
Weapon hand skin now. Smoked up, looking for a potential member. They're going to run into Cuckoo. Gets off a solo RP, but the Searing Chains are there to hold him in place. Illuminate to follow. Skewers back into the tier 1 tower. Limpet looks like he's just going to finish off Cuckoo with ease. RP wasted. And we have a lasso on the other side. Looks like S4 is going to take a tumble. So a 1-for-1 for each respective position 3.
I mean, S4, love him. He's going to have a very hard game. Like, this is just rough. T1 fans, they're going to have to be looking at 23 Savage. Like, this kid is probably one of the best players in the world right now, but it's a tough ask for him. He has to play flawlessly. The Medusa performance, not bad, but certainly not perfect. He can't get away making the mistakes like he did in the previous game. He's got to end the game with like 1 death maximum. You can already see Sven, Nico Baby, coming out to a nice network lead, and that's before he takes the Ancient stack. It's just why Sven in some cases is favored against Lifestealer, because you get these item progressions going a lot faster. Whereas Lifestealer, in theory, has a much better laning phase, especially against a melee strength hero. This would be big if Carl could steal it, but he'll know.
Absolutely. I mean, you do have Empower, so there is some capability. I'm not sure how many stacks are actually available for him to take, but there's a little bit of wiggle room there.
Radiant structures are
Looks like he's about to finish his armlet at the very least. And Carl, yeah, you're right, going for this Ancient stack. Nico Baby. Hey, no, Limp is in the vicinity. Actually misses the Searing Chains. FNG. With the pick pull actually worked.
Wow.
Look at that move speed. Limp, flame break. You can see Mortimer's kisses. It's not going to be enough for him to save his life, but we'll just assume he stole some of those creeps. You got at least a lot of damage on them.
He didn't get many of them, unfortunately.
Okay, unfortunately.
Like, I love the hero-specific chat wheeling. I think that's the mark, because I've been playing a lot of Dota. I don't have the mental capacity at the moment to utilize proper hero-based chat wheels while playing. Like, I just can't. I'm too focused on what I'm doing. So, you know, then you get to the 5-head players, like the Thompsons and the Carls of the world, and they're ready, like, they already saw the play. So they know now just how to flame or...
Right. Yeah, it's a whole oh my god, that Laguna Blade did absolutely nothing to Limp. It's FNG, gets off the cookie, but getting burned down very slowly by Carl. And Zephyr takes credit for that with the Dragon Slave.
They do get tower, though. And that Flame Guard was just, yeah, it got the Laguna.
Yeah.
It was like a 1-for-1 trade. You take that.
Quite a trade. Big pull again. Matt Carl is using the crap out of this thing. That's awesome to see. He gets the lasso, RP to follow. Good layering of stuns. Is there enough damage? Yes. Cuckoo takes it, and that is a big kill. Speaking of big kills, Lifestealer somehow dies, but look at this Chain Frost. Whitemon. He got a lot of XP from killing that Coddle earlier.
How did that happen?
I actually don't know. That's a lot of damage to Lifestealer, though.
It looks like, yeah, just stunned into a blast. They must have seen him.
You said he can't die more than once. That's his once.
Yeah. That one hurts, because that was to Nico, baby. Well, Hanskin got the last hit, but still.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Sven didn't even use his ultimate for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the net worth. Obviously, Sven's going to have an advantage just having that inherent cleave like you're talking about, but this is a little bit larger than you're expecting, maybe.
And the thing is, I will say T1, like, this is going to be an interesting game where Alliance are going to get a power spike, you know, 20 to 25 minutes. Their Sven will be an item ahead. They'll feel good. But later on in the game, T1 have 2 tools at dealing with Sven's BKB, the RP and the lasso.
True.
Alliance, you don't have that. Like, Lifestealer is going to have a pretty free game no matter what, which is why I'm placing so much emphasis on 23 Savage. Because if he gets to a point where he's top of the net worth chart, you're going to feel really good as T1, because he's just going to be unstoppable. Empower to boot.
Yeah, taking advantage of that Empower now, so starting to ramp up his farm just a bit. And as expected, we'll be going to the SNY into Satanic. And let's see, Satanic this game, I mean, the Dispel is really good against Coddle. It's good against the Searing Chains as well, so that's going to be pretty value Satanic.
That's
yeah, a lot of neutrals for Mr. Sven. That's where he lives. That's part of his lore now.
Is under attack.
Well, he is a rogue knight, so it would make sense he's traversing through the forest alone.
Yeah, true.
Have you seen the Green Knight? I haven't, but I've been.
No,
it's very good.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I've not seen it yet. I chose to watch Old instead.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan always disappoints.
What? Since '96, man.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
It's every movie. Terrible.
He's like an airplane movie director. You know, it's like watching movies on.
It's like, I guess I'll watch.
It's like going to the fridge when you're hungry, and like as you check back every 30 minutes, and your standards just get lower, and eventually you pick something.
It's true. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Cuckoo skewers out, but the Searing Chains does connect. Limp gets it off finally, but there's the initiation from Bad Rider. Through the Mars Arena you go. Elitate's not going to connect. A nice sleight of fist, but it's not going to be enough. The burst damage was there anyway, so it's going to be a 1-for-1. Limp ends up getting Cuckoo. There's another pig pull. Man, he loves this thing.
I would say something interrupted the cookie from the Snapfire. Or was it the skewer from the mag? Weird interaction, but
could have been. Yeah.
23 not even there, just shoving lane.
I mean, they have a lot to go through Mars Arena. Bat Rider's Firefly still goes over, right? Or they fixed that? I think it's because it's the Z axis or whatever the hell that is.
No, he should fly over it, yeah.
Yeah, he should.
I think.
So that's one. Then you have Rage to go through it as well. And Skewer, I think.
No, Skewer doesn't.
You sure? Once he gets BKB, Skewer will come through. I'm actually not sure about that one.
Watch, like the cookie. What interrupted the cookie?
Yeah, that was weird. Huh.
It was Flame Break. Okay.
Pig pull. Look at that. He dodged one glob because of pig pull. Good usage. All right, that is great to see. Mr. Carl, definitely a pig pull aficionado. Can definitely respect that.
God.
Nobody else is doing this.
Get me
it's
out.
Genie. Look at him. He's enjoying himself thoroughly.
It makes him move faster, and he was going back to base.
I know. No, nobody's been doing that though. They're very lazy. They use it as a 6 stat item. Really paving the way for all pig pull users out there. Which is not you, apparently. Cuckoo has the Frost Shield applied, S4. Gets the spear into the arena, but 23 Savage with that Rage comes through, trying to take out S4, and with that Flame Break will be an easy cleanup crew. Actually dies in pig form. Doesn't count as a real death, by the way. I'm saying that.
So incredible. what plays from Alliance to outthink the pig pole.
I don't know if there's a stat, but at the end of the game, can we get a pig pole stat usage? How many times? There's technology probably doesn't exist, honestly. That would be great, though.
They are not going to bring their Sven. I thought they might do so since the ulti form was popped. And yes, thank you to the observer. Please stop enabling Suns fans. We're trying to get him over this.
Thank you, production. We appreciate that. So the tier 2 tower is what they're going to be focusing on for now. It's 23 Savage in the mid lane, initiated on by Nico Baby. Nope, spear not in time for S4. Pretty difficult kill to get at this stage of the game.
Yeah, impossible. And you know that's going to be the name of this game, right? Alliance, your Sven is out carrying, but 23 Savage just feels really good, just really good playing this game. He's going to be empowered. He also got Broom Handle, I think, by far the best item on these melee strength carries.
Yep, quite good.
Super value. Meanwhile, Sven had the chip vest.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
It's not good.
Yeah, he's in the jungle the whole time. At least he's making use of it, you know?
True.
Yeah, could have been better, for sure.
Roche is going to probably look to be the next play for both these teams, or at least controlling the area. Batrider, big advantage. Pretty much anybody he catches is likely dead. So T1, they're going to utilize this initiation edge because they also do have a blink on mag. But Alliance's team fight theoretically should be a bit stronger, especially if they get a big arena down. You have a blink on S4.
Limp jumps in. Laguna Blade again, but he knew he was dead, just wanted to get it off cooldown. So Zephyr takes a tumble again. So 4K network lead now for Alliance. And Aghanim Scepter online. Will-O-Wisp, the Ignis Fatus with the Mars. Pretty disgusting combo. Of course, Lifestealer won't really care too much about that, and Carl just gets decimated by Nico Baby.
Really nice. I like the decision to get the Sange for the status resist, but then the early blink, because you know, they did lack a little bit of follow-up, and you want to be able to just go with all your cores.
So at what point do you think a casual Sage will not be that good? Because it went from 16 to 12% status.
It doesn't matter, it's still status resist, right? Like
if it gets 1% status resist, you're going to get it. There's a limit. There's a limit out there.
10% or more.
Ice Frog's looking for it. And Illuminate just completely taking out that wave as friggin' Blade is picked up. That's a nice one.
The other thing is that the upgraded version is still the same, right? So Ember, you're going to go Sange Kaya. Sven, you're going to go Sange and Yasha, and you're going to feel really good. So there's just really no reason not to. The question is, will people stop going the Sange first? But I think the HP nowadays, and it's such a burst-heavy meta, is just too valuable.
That's true. Oh, big arena from S4. Keeps Alina off the map. Now the RP to follow. The BKB activated now. Onto Nico, baby. He's going ham. The 23 Savage is not really taking too much damage. Now he's stuck inside the Ignis Fatus. Nobody even infests to. Looks like he's just going to get right-clicked down the old-fashioned way by Nico, baby. 4 for 1. Amazing initiation from S4, despite him dying.
Yep. S5 had huge play. Carl just wasn't really there. I think he was slow to respawn or at least enter the fight. Didn't even get the lasso off. And yeah, T1, I love their pickoff potential. And sure, Lifestealer isn't really killable, but notice he was saved for last. That was just a fight you can't win. Once the arena goes down, we're going to watch the replay. They just walk forward and get slaughtered. Like 3-man stun from Nico, baby. He also has the BKB, so Savage can infest, but like it just doesn't matter. Do they even get RP off? I don't think so.
Looks like RP's on cooldown.
So yes, they did. Good call, Suns fan.
Thank you. And it's going to be getting flame broken here. But yeah, this is just snowballing in Alliance's favor. And in terms of Roche, I mean, they have the little shredder for a little bit of minus armor for Roche. And I mean, you do need God Strength for it, though. Yep, Solar Crest as well for Snapfire. And I mean, for T1, they do have, it is scary to play against T1 in the Roche pit if you haven't gotten some kills ahead of time. Might not be something they could just walk into.
How does Brigand's Blade work on the Sven? Like, because you're doing bonus damage based on missing HP, right? So does that increase all damage? Like, it's extra damage to the target?
And then you're asking if that cleave...
Exactly. Or is it that the cleave itself does the bonus damage? Because it affects the target? I don't think it would work that way. I think it's just the single target that takes more damage and it doesn't affect the cleave. But it'd be interesting. I should test that.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question. That's the type of question
a really good item for Sven is my main point. Especially against these squishies that you two-shot and take to like 20% HP.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's one of the neutral items. Very cool design. 23 Savage gonna run into Limp. Still has his rage. His Solar Bind is gonna force him to use it.
I love Coddle Ember. It's like just absolutely the best. You get the slight chains off and immediately you've got another one. And when you're playing against these heroes like Lich, like Lina, I mean, look at their HP. You know, it's 960 on the Lich, 1205 on Lina, with like almost 7 and 4 armor respectively. Like Limp's just gonna shred him. And you can see Zephyr feels that. As soon as these fights start, he's popping Laguna on somebody. Doesn't matter the target, he just wants to get it off because it's almost certainly gonna go down as they head into the pit.
Yeah, Alliance just runs into the pit, knowing that I mean, after they take into control of the triangle, they put up some wards, and you can see that they're scanning as well, just to make sure that there's no smoke coming through. Ends up being a freebie for them. Sven, not the best Aegis carry in the world, but still, not going to complain.
Roshan has fallen to the damage.
Aegis now in there. He's actually going for Daedalus, so kind of an older school build. We're not seeing this silver edge cool guy thing that I have yet to even see work, actually.
I think it's because you have the blink. I disagree when people go for both blink and the silver edge.
Oh, Carl gets caught out with the searing chains, and Nico Baby 3-shots him.
Nice work. Thank you to our observer. And this is the danger. You go with blink build, you need to find pickoffs. You don't have the BKB. Ooh.
Quick fingers there. Whitemon TPing out to safety. And Nico Baby's not going to find anything else with this God Strength. But still has another 4 minutes on the Aegis, so... Okay. I'm not sure how much vision they have, but I guess we obviously have more than them, but that looked hilarious. Easy spear. And this is getting out of control for T1. So what is their plan of action here? We have yet to see any kind of Infest bomb. Like, Infest has served zero purpose in this game. Like, it hasn't been used properly.
It's tough. It's just real tough. They don't have enough farm on their Lifestealer to feel confident. You can't team fight into Alliance. It was finding pickoffs that was the key. But we really haven't seen any. Like, I think we've had one meaningful RP. I think 2 lassos. And yeah, that's the disparity. Just so much more gold in the pockets of the Nico Baby Sven. No God Strength for 40, but it'll be up soon enough. And looks like they may look to threaten tier 3 here.
Absolutely. I mean, this is kind of a scary lineup to go up against. You got the RP, like you said, and Chain Frost to follow.
And that's really cool. He went for the Halberd on Limp instead of the Sanj Kai. I like that a lot. Less status resist, but very good against Lifestealer. And at this point, I think you're just trying to stay alive. You know, live through this initiation potential of T1.
Infested in the Baby Wolf. Looks like he'll be fine. Is actually going to set something up with the Bat Rider lasso, and S4 bit up a little bit too much. But in the meantime, Cuckoo gets caught out, so it's a 1-for-1 again. The offlaners trade their lives.
This is something that, like, just you would never have seen a few years back, but nowadays it's so common for teams to make these plays in different areas. So it's like S4 is just like bluffing top as a distraction.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this team is just finding kills for him.
As a result, 23 Savage will have a little bit of space to do some damage to this. The fact that Brigand's Blade, not that he has it, but does damage to towers is pretty cool as well. Just thought of that randomly. Rage TP. The damage, not there. Doesn't have the Daedalus quite yet.
If he did,
oh, he would have killed.
Probably not.
With Daedalus?
With a crit.
Oh, you mean just Crystallis crit?
No. I'm saying if he had Daedalus, he might kill him.
Might?
Okay, he probably.
That was 100%.
You can't. You're guessing. You can't do that math.
He had like 300 health when he TP'd out.
Like 900.
Even if he had 9 hits of Sven God Strength. Maybe I played against different Svens than you. I'm not sure. So, we get to see it. All right, let's see. All right, so yeah, 700 health. You're saying with Daedalus, that's not a kill.
He would have needed a crit.
Even without a, okay, maybe a crit was needed. But he does have Echo Saber and whatnot, so chances.
I hope there's like, every time I say something mildly nonsensical, I hope there's some guy who like goes in a practice room, I'm gonna test it. And it's like, God damn it, Kyle's wrong again. And like, they don't tell anyone, but they have the satisfaction.
They're too embarrassed to say, hey, I tested this out to try to validate Kyle, but I was actually wrong as well. Still 1 minute to go on this Aegis, so Nico Baby maybe a little bit antsy here. I believe Alliance will probably try to use it here. But Satanic is now online for 23 Savage. That's a nice pickup.
No, it's just a cool concept, though. I think we talked about this during one of the lessons I gave Effie. You know, Moore's Law. People learn better when you tell them something that's like not true, because then they'll prove you wrong. Whereas if you just ask for help or the answer, like nobody responds.
So you're saying that because that's not what Moore's Law is. Is that correct? Is that the joke?
Rune of invisibility.
Possibly.
Okay, I'll take that silence as an absolute yes. So I actually don't know which what that is, but it's not Moore's Law.
Moore's Law is the one I think about processors getting like smaller but more effective, and
they double in efficiency every year, which actually was proven incorrect one year.
correct. The law in regards to
Number of transistors doubled every year, 2 years. Thank you. Oh, we're talking about nonsensical things. 23 Savage is destroyed.
you were right.
He has the daedalus. He is
died.
dead.
Oh no.
Aegis will be gone soon, but Echo Saber will replace it. So
this is that peak time we were talking about with Alliance, right? You're suddenly an item ahead on the Sven, and your Lifestealer doesn't have that confidence anymore to play the map because the physical damage actually just kills you. They don't need a rage TP. They need some turnaround 2-1. I feel like we haven't seen Cuckoo in this game. Same with Carl. Like, there's just no ability for them to make pickoffs. But how much of that is the unseen influence of Hanskin and our inability to see the map with fog? Because these waves are just dying. Like, there isn't a way to make plays as your bat because this, like, look at this.
Never refuse gold.
just I don't know. Based on what we've seen so far, he just feels like a first ban along with Clinks. Like, these two heroes just feel like on a different level of everybody else right now. And maybe it has something to do with teams not properly, trying to counter it. At least they haven't learned how to do it properly, or maybe they're just too strong right now.
Yeah, who knows? It just, seems a lot like a Darkseer in a way, shoving lanes from off map. You have specific things you'd like to play around, but Coddle just has a wider window of necessary partners to be effective. Like, I have an Ember Spirit on my team, then I love playing Coddle. That's my go-to chakra.
Right.
And you push waves. That's that.
All right, so 5-man spawn for T1. We have the Infest Bomb onto Carl. And S4 is who they're going to run into. Not sure if they want him. Eco Baby in the vicinity. Pop the BKB. There's the lasso. They want the Coddle. He's already expended the Will-O-Wisp, but that is the Lotus Orb actually applied with that lasso. So not much is done there. And here comes Eco Baby with the gloves from afar. And the disarm that you were talking about. 23 Savage forced to rage TP out. And this was a disastrous fight for T1. Alliance looking to clean up. They'll find a second. Could have been worse, but not great for T1.
I mean, he didn't even God Strength.
You're right. That's actually true.
He just had a DD. It's looking rough for T1. There's still a potential. At the end of the day, Magnus, Batrider, you drag people back, get that fight into the tier 4s. It's going to be your play. You get the D ward.
They know he's used Rage, so he can't fight until this is off cooldown again. This gives you like a 10-second window to just hit buildings, so that's any worry. But there's the fort.
Magnus coming back alive. Still the BKB on Sven.
Yeah, I mean, they still have this wombo combo, theoretically, if they can pull it off. Will-O-Wisp up a little bit too late there. So 23 Savage is going to eat that up.
Surprise, Alliance? Are they going to back here? The Alliance special is to go, right? Like, they love that play. You little fake back and dive base.
Right.
But I think now you reel back after that miss.
All right. Okay, I'm not blaming the game on this guy, okay? But I want your thoughts now on Lich. I have not felt the presence of Lich at all.
Well,
after the
that's
lane.
just the nature of the hero.
So why pick? Is it you're picking it just to try to win your lane? Is that kind of the idea? Is Hanskin's going to get killed here?
Honestly, not sure. I see it picked a bunch, and I understand, the defensive tools, the main reason, but if I'm looking at heroes that were buffed a bit in the patch, I look at Disruptor as my go-to 5. Like, same concept in that you bring a bunch of mangoes to the lane and out-harass and win it for your carry. But if I'm thinking like defensive supports, Lich just isn't top of my list.
All right, Frost Shield is good, and you can use it on towers, which is helpful, but it should... It's not like crazy good.
You don't see that very often. Limp went for the Searing Chains, target, and duration. I more often see the Flame Guard DPS just damage output.
Wasn't that a new talent added recently? Is 23 Savage? Rage TP?
Yeah.
Or did they just redistribute it to a different...
No, I think it was Spell Amplification.
So that's a brand new talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I take that back because I think actually take Spell Amp more often, but was replaced with that. I think also part of the reason Void Spirit's still so strong is you have an observed 14% spell damage as your level 20 talent. Like, talk about power spikes.
Yeah, slowly but surely the talents are becoming less generalized and more specialized for the skills. So I think the goal probably is to get rid of all of them. Because in this last patch, like a ton of them got changed. They'll just be spell specific.
This is something we've, I think, discussed ever since these neutral items and backpacks came in. But part of the reason these percent-based increases are so good are because everybody scales faster now. You have an extra item. You have extra item slots. You can buy more build-up. So these heroes are just more powerful, and thus auras become even more effective.
Oh, Savage. Savage gets off the rage.
Yeah,
he had his finger on Q.
I mean, he saw S4 smoke broke like a little second delay.
He's very quick react. I couldn't do that. I'm a
23 it's S4. His fingers are still quick, but I mean 23 Savage, like this kid's like 12k MMR. He's got a decade on S4.
That's true.
He's gonna have the reaction.
It's funny you say he has a decade on as if like in a normal sport. Like he's got 10 more years of experience. No, 10 less years actually, and that's a benefit. Great replay. Thank you.
But he sees him.
Yes, he had plenty of time.
He had a lot of time. He intentionally waited to force the blink in, though. That is something I would not have done. I would have immediately rage TP'd in fear.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kuku has the BKB, though. Should help.
But second rush is up.
It's not like... We maybe make it seem like Alliance are like running away with this. They really aren't. Look at the net worth. Like, that was their power spike. Like, they're supposed to be ahead until this point. But one fight, T1 can start to turn things around. Empower will help Lifestealer outscale, and he's at a point
F4 Arena only gets one with the spear. That is the Lich. Shockwave to follow. As we see Nico Baby focusing on Kuku. Has the BKB skewer away. So the Lich is to be the first casualty of this engagement. Kuku TP's out. Zephyr looks to be the sacrifice for T1. And with this, does Alliance go for more, or they try to go for Roach, all right? Got the lasso onto the high ground. Buybacks onto both supports. Alliance might need to back now, and they will do just that.
Nice play. I love the nullifier pickup on 23. It's huge here. It can potentially prevent the BKB and the Satanic from being utilized by the enemy Sven. They still have RP.
It doesn't work that way anymore. No longer mutes. It's the constant dispel.
Good job.
I'm a huge nullifier lover. This item is actually, I think, OP currently because there's no way to dispel it.
Yeah.
So if you're Necro, you don't exist because this item is in the game. That's the biggest issue with this. Will-O-Wisp, but RP only onto one, but it is the very important Coddle. He is nullified right now and brought down swiftly. S4 died as well. Buys back into the game instantly. S4 gets off a nice skewer. And in the vicinity with FNG as well as Nico Baby. Company looking for a kill on Kuku. Dual Scepter, you have to think they'll be able to finish him off here pretty swiftly. And they would, okay, it's not swiftly, it's a slow, painful death for Magnus.
It does open up there. Now, the game gets a little more complicated for Alliance because suddenly your carry is on this big clock. With no God Strength, you're not really interested in taking team fights. Lifestealer, of course, is always ready to battle. However, his initiators with the lasso and the RP are on the clock. So it's a lot about your reset time and taking good engagements, maybe baiting out one of these big spells or a BKB. I like Nico. I see a lot of Sven switching up to this. Originally, everyone was just getting God Strength damage, but I think the stun duration is certainly superior. Especially in a game like this. You need that lockdown time to find a kill. T1 have no defensive dispels, so will be very effective, especially if you catch Lifestealer before the rage.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think you
get coming out.
Yeah, to the Sven, I would think, for the reduced CD, and then of course the dispel gets rid of the frost armor.
Okay, yeah, I like that. And on the other side, the nullifier, we haven't really talked about the effects that could have and have had already, but takes off Warcry, takes off Flame Guard. What else?
They gave it.
All right.
Okay, so quality of life. Interesting.
All right. As if Coddle can't farm fast enough? I guess Sven can say the same.
So that should say something about the way Alliance see this game. Because if you give that to Sven, like that's a significant boost to like his team fighting, right? Whereas for Coddle, now you're playing more around buybacks, map control, maybe split pushing. So be curious to see how they utilize this.
23 Savage working towards an assault. Already has the Hyperstone in tow. And even though he's 6k net worth behind, it is against a strength hero. And the fact that he can get rid of the Warcry means that he's actually doing a lot more than you think against the Sven. But he is level 23. The 25 talent for Lifestealer is actually a pretty big deal. The rage duration, second and a half, is kind of gigantic. I think it used to be 2 seconds, actually.
Yeah, it was. The thing is, like, that Swift Blink on Sven, like, Nico is now maxed out. Like, this is peak. He's got level 25 talent. Like, this is as strong as this hero gets. And Alliance have got to use this window to get something done now. Because I fear for their draft if you get to a point where the enemy Lifestealer is also 6-slotted.
Yeah, I agree. And Cuckoo has to pop BKB. It's going to be that in trade for the Mars Arena, which was nerfed in terms of the cooldown. So I think it's 90 seconds at all levels now, as opposed to the ridiculous 60 from before.
That wasn't balanced.
But Alliance still with the Aegis, still with that 13k net worth lead, which doesn't feel quite 13k. But we'll see.
Well, it's late enough in the game, right? And if you look at the supports, I think a big part of that disparity is just your poor Lich is 4,000 gold behind, second to last. And Hanskin is not. I'm like, wow, wait, what am I saying? Oh, then you realize Hanskin is considered a support, and he's almost 18k net worth. It's actually his Mars that has struggled, but I mean, that's the nature of the game when you play Mars, and you have this Coddle just killing every creep wave. He'll have a Hex finished shortly.
Yeah, he is.
Limp has his Lincolns and Aghanims finished.
Alliance ready to jump. The tower's pretty low. Could just casually walk up and hit it a couple times, but obviously have to be careful with the RP. It does pierce magic immunity. I mean, the Lich at this point, it feels like it's just a Frost Shield. Like, the Chain Frost isn't even as important as the Frost Shield at this stage, I think, just because of the damage mitigation that comes out from it.
And they're just blasting.
They want this ward. You know, there's something there. It's just sentries right now, but with that damage here to the tier 3 tower, see if they can finish it off. Taking it kind of slow, nice and methodical for Alliance.
Yeah, but the big thing is, you know, Lifestealer, 16% evasion at level 20, and the Elven Tunic, so another 16%, 30% in total, and that is actually a huge deal, because Sven, you know, you don't itemize for this MKB. You have no help in terms of accuracy. It's one of the items I think is probably going to be next up on the Ice Frog list, like something that isn't MKB that helps you deal with evasion, because right now it's an incredibly powerful attribute. And
you think it would be a cheaper item, not like this late game?
I would just love to see like something. They did it originally, I think it was Atos had accuracy, but I'd really like some kind of support item that like helped you counter evasion, because originally it was health regen that we had big problems with, and now Scotty and Shivas, they help with this, but there's still nothing for evasion, and it's going to make 23 Savage just deceptively tanky when he goes toe-to-toe with Nico.
That's a good suggestion. I thought you said you didn't want to give suggestions.
I don't give ridiculous suggestions, Sven. I'm a serious analyst.
Some would call this ridiculous, depending on the perspectives. You know, some people don't want supports to enable their carry to do more damage to butterfly targets. You know, who knows? There's a lot of sadists out there, like Slacks. So Carl right now running with, looks like Octarine's next on the table, has the Aether Lens already, so that'll be very nice. I feel like this could be an Aghanim Scepter game, actually, to be able to get that double lasso potential that could really turn things, especially if you RP them first.
Yeah, and maybe a refresher on Mag, so that you could RP, skewer them, double lasso, then
RP again, and skewer into the fountain. Oh man. Except the fountain's not strong, really.
It's true.
To be fair, it needs multi-shot and break and a lot of different mechanics, but it does have the Ursa passive essentially now. So
I think it should instantly kill illusions.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Red 3 Savage, not quite level 25 yet, so definitely behind in the levels overall. Penta Edge Sword picked up though, and I wonder if he's gonna take that one or not over the Trickster Cloak, because Trickster Cloak is.
Oh wow, yeah, even more evasion.
Yeah, like for tier 4 items for carries, this feels like one of the best ones now that they've gotten rid of some others. Nope, looks like he is going for it. Okay, Penta Edge Sword it is. So you get your maim back with the old S and Y. Kind of old school here. He has to use the tome. Still not 25 though. They desperately want that rage talent.
There's an Octarine on bet. No buyback on Carl. None on Savage either.
And now we have the Infest Bomb onto Carl.
Very risky move here.
Yeah. I mean, not a whole lot of buybacks overall for either side, but more so on Alliance, of course. Nico Baby with the Swift Blink, by the way, and has the Leveler equipped right now. Will-O-Wisp. All right, with the ensnare. And there's the Infest Bomb with that Nullifier and the Chain Frost. Lich did something. I can't believe it. They're going to delete Coddle from the map to start this fight out. And Alliance, Lich was actually stuck inside his own arena. Looks like he's going to get dropped. No, he actually blinks to safety, surprisingly enough. But Skewer's not going to be there. 23 Savage pursuing, and you can see the globs forcing T1 back. 23 Savage forced to use his rage as well. Does have the 25 talent now. They did get the Coddle. Still kind of a weird fight, but Alliance had to use some relatively long cooldowns.
Hey, Cuckoo is not connected. Oh no. No BKB.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Carl getting caught out. Nullifier now onto Nico, but look how fast he drops here without that war cry enabled. And there's the RP onto Ember Spirit. Can he get out in time? He does. The other side of the river, but the Nullifier is applied again with the Skewer, and that is going to be enough to take out the second core for Alliance.
Oh my god.
Call it 3 if you consider Coddle here a core, which I guess he kind of is.
I cannot, like, Nico Baby just got destroyed. That was a beyond godlike streak. It just evaporated. Like, this is Lifestealer, right? Like, we discussed it. Sven has been maxed out for the last 7 minutes. He's gotten no stronger. And 23 Savage, level 25, gets the sword, had the completed AC. As you said, no war cry. So, like, just toodles to Nico Baby. You're going to see him here. You know, it feels like this is a good fight for Alliance. They have no Hanskin, but, you know, it's okay. And then he legitimately just dies.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, even if there's Force Staffs, that gets dispelled. Like, there's really no way to, like, Nullifier, I'm telling you, is super ridiculous. I can't believe more people want to buy it. But we have the Spear into the tower with the Will-O-Wisp applied as well. 23 Savage gets his rage off. Laguna Blade reflected, but they'll take that kill onto S4. There's 3 buybacks available for Alliance. They're going to have to use it unless they just want to give up this mid-Rax. They can go for as many racks as they want because there's no outer towers whatsoever. 23 Savage. See a Wind Waker, by the way, on Zephyr. Wow. Holy crap. All right. That's as close to a naked Wind Waker that I've ever seen.
I love it, too. You have the telescope, so that's really long-range save.
That's true.
Like, theoretically, if Sven doesn't blow something up immediately, that's when Savage just comes in and helps you try and kite.
All right, second racks now. 23 Savage gets off that rage.
They pop God Strength. They should have seen it, too.
Oh, yeah, they saw it all right. I mean, that's kind of a big deal that there hasn't, like, I feel like Sven...
Oh, but look at the pit. Look what's outside of it, Nahaz.
Oh, boy.
He's so mad. I can hear him.
Double
but they don't
damage,
go into the pit.
Ags Roche, ready to go. I feel like Abyssal Blade is needed for Alliance. They have no way to stop this Rage TP that's been like 5-6 times now.
If you give that to Savage, you are in serious trouble on Alliance. But they have no S-Force. They just didn't feel confident making a play for it.
Cuckoo sees it. Obviously, already infested, so they're just going to leave the DD for now. They're going to take out Hanskin. There is the Nullifier. All right, who got the DD? Oh, Nico Baby actually got it. He got Yule, so it gets dispelled. Pops the BKB, attempting to TP out, but the RP is there. And this is death number 1. Does have a buyback, as does the rest of Alliance. But this is going to free up Roche for T1, and they've evened up this game. Actually just taking the lead outright.
I'd say more than even. Suns fan, this is suddenly T1's game to lose.
All right, got it.
Hex on Cuckoo.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They're getting Roche.
Agon Scepter. Please give it to Lifestealer for no reason. Other than that's awesome.
No.
God damn it.
No, you give it to Zephyr.
Damn you. Really? I think you give it to Batrider for sure.
Pure damage, BKB. No, the double lasso isn't real.
It's fine. If you have all these items with BKB, yeah, they're giving it to him. I think this is good. This is a good Ags.
It's real.
I mean, it's one thing if it's like a support Batrider and you can't like get in the right position consistently. He has so many items. He's not going to get bursted, you know? A lot of opportunity. There's
okay, actually, I take that back. I forgot they changed it. It's a 600 scepter tether range. That's actually enormous. So he should get consistent double lassos. 23 Savage now Vegas.
Yeah, that's the buyback. That's the big one onto Nico Bay. They just need to kill him one more time. Applying the pressure to this barracks now. Another respawn coming for the Snapfire. There's the Rage, and you can see S4 tries to use it off, but that is the Nullifier. Literally 0 counters other than, I guess, Lincoln Sphere. Limp on the other side gets lassoed, and weirdly gets stunned as well by Lich, but the deletion from Nico Baby. Trying to apply all this pressure to Batrider as well. They'll get that double kill for Nico. That is mega creeps. Lifestealer, he has rage. Not able to get it off quite yet. Might have to get a couple right clicks off first and then rage TP. You know, he's just going to force FNG to try to run away, but the nullifier keeps him in place. And now looks like he will likely fall? Question mark? Yes, that is just the Aegis though. Here comes the Mars Arena from S4 on absolutely nothing. He's using it for effect. The architecture is beautiful indeed, but there, the Halberd now onto the Lifestealer, pops that rage, and this is going to be the dieback for Nico, baby. Beat the Infest Bomb as well, the skewer to finish him off, and down goes Alliance with a pretty big lead this game, but T1 playing masterfully overall, and this nullifier has actually just changed the game's complexion entirely. This game just over.
Alliance, like, it didn't feel like they made any like critical mistakes, right? T1 just so scrappy, they just hang on. They hang on.